Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the last episode where we chatted to Heidi from Glorious by Heidi all about how to find your wedding style. This episode flows seamlessly on from that one, almost as if we planned it, because we're talking to Charlotte from Maisie Darling Bridal Boutique all about wedding dresses, how to find your perfect dress and how to make the most of your visit to a bridal boutique. Now, I'm not an expert on dresses. All I know is that every bride I've shot looks amazing, but I know there's a lot that goes into finding and trying on the perfect dress. And we're going to learn all about what's involved today and hopefully answer some questions that you may have. I know that lots of you will have dreamed of putting on that wedding dress years before you've even met the love of your life. So this is a great topic if you're still looking for that perfect outfit, and even if you found it and you just want to double check you've made the right decision, then I think this is a great episode for you. As ever, if you love what you hear, please go and rate and review the podcast. It helps other couples like yourself find the podcast and listen to some tips and wisdom from yours truly and all my fabulous guests. So whatever you're doing now, chill out, have a cup of tea and tune into Charlotte sharing a wealth of information on all things bridal dresses. Enjoy. Hi Charlotte, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Can you introduce yourselves to all our listeners, please?
Yes, thanks for having me, Ross. I'm Charlotte and I own Maisie Darling Bridal Boutique in Leicestershire.
Fantastic. So where did the name Maisie Darling come from?
So Maisie Marling was my grandmother, and so the boutique is named after her. We took inspiration from her style. She was quite vintage and really cared about how she looked. And my memory of her is that she wouldn't ever leave the house without lipstick on and her handbag over her arm. So it just seemed perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect inspiration. I love that. Cool. So what sets your boutique apart from maybe some other bridal shops?
So we are quite an intimate boutique. Whenever a bride comes to us, she has the whole boutique to herself. And I have made the decision to only stock British bridal designers. So everything in the boutique has been designed by a British designer.
Oh, fantastic. Why did you make that decision?
So for me, there was two reasons really. It kind of fitted in with the boutique being personal. I'm British, obviously, and I like to support our industries here in this country.
Yeah.
But also, I just felt that who better to design for English British brides than British designers? They know our culture and style and fashion and all of those things. So it kind of just fitted for me.
Yeah, and I suppose it means that your collection and your business has quite a cohesive look to it.
Yes, yeah, it does. And it's really helpful that all of the designers I work with I've met and I can speak to. So if a bride has a specific need, I can just ring the designer there and then and we can sort that issue out, if you see what I mean.
No, definitely. You know where everything's coming from and where it's sourced. Yeah. And definitely, that's a really, really nice take on the business. Fantastic. How long have you had the bridal shop?
So Maisie Darling is very new. We opened right at the beginning of February, and we were open for 6 weeks before we then had to close for lockdown. Of
course. Oh no. So you're just getting your teeth into it and then it all had to stop.
Yeah, so we're very excited to be able to open up again.
I can imagine. What were you doing before you had the boutique? Were you in the industry? Were you doing something totally different?
No, I was doing something totally different. I've been a dance teacher for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Slight career change. So I worked in an FE college and trained students that wanted to dance professionally. Yeah, so there is some correlation. So it was all costume and drama and being on the stage and all of those kinds of things.
And working with people as well, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, of course. So it's just ladies now instead of teenagers, which is, I don't know, some might
Probably
say
has
it's
some
better.
advantages, yeah. Oh, brilliant, fantastic.
Yeah.
And is it just you, or do you have staff in the boutique as well?
No, it's just me at the minute, but I like it that way. I want to be able to know all of the brides that come in, and I really like to hear everybody's love stories and things like that, so it's lovely.
Yeah, that's one of my favourite bits, getting to know everyone's love stories and how it all started and where they got to the point of the wedding. Yeah, fantastic. Brilliant. So you're going to share some tips on bridal appointments and going for your fitting and going into the boutique. Where should people start? Where should brides start when they're looking for their wedding dress?
So for me, the first thing that I always say to brides is try to be as open-minded as you can. So as a female, and I've been a bride as well, you look for hours and hours at all the different pictures of all the different dresses, and potentially you'll see a dress or a style of a dress and think that's exactly what I want. But a lot of brides find that when they come and try dresses on, they end up leaving with something totally different to what they expected.
Okay.
So it's really helpful if we can try on that dress that they love or that style, but then we try on something that is totally different, so that we can rule things out and find exactly what they love and what suits their body shape and the venue as well, because some brides forget that. So being open-minded is really, really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't even ever thought of thinking of the venue, actually. So how does that impact on sort of choice of outfit?
I think it doesn't have to, but for some specific brides, it needs to be cohesive. So if they're getting married in Mexico, for instance, they don't necessarily want a massive dress with loads of tulle and it flows like 15 miles behind them, because they just get sand in it and they get really hot, and it kind of aesthetically, something more softer, slinky, suits that venue and that type of wedding better. And the same for if we were getting married here. So a lot of brides like to have more natural weddings now, so they're getting married in fields or having a teepee and garden weddings, and certain kinds of material lend themselves to that wedding. And that's something that the bridal boutique owner would be able to talk to the bride about. Obviously, some brides just want a certain dress, and that's fine, but it is good to consider, can you imagine yourself standing in that venue wearing that dress?
Really good tip. And how much do you feel it's your responsibility to guide brides in the right direction if you really think their choices are not perhaps in their own best interests?
For me, I would never let a bride leave my shop if I didn't think she was 100% in love and that was the perfect dress. Because for me, it's not about selling the dresses. It's about giving that bride confidence. It's about making sure that they feel amazing or beautiful, however they want to feel on that wedding day. That is what my goal is. Obviously, if a bride falls in love with the dress and that's perfect for them, even if I don't think so, as long as they've convinced me that they are in love with it, at a wedding, I'm not going to stop them buying a dress. But like a bride came in before lockdown and she was in a dress, and you could just tell by her body language she liked the dress, but there was just something that was stopping her from being totally 100% in love with it. And so I just said to her, look, just go, have a couple of days and think about it. And if it's still in your mind every single day, then you know that is the dress. But if it's not, then keep searching. And so that's what she did. Because you can tell a bride stands differently when they put that dress on that they're supposed to have. You can see it instantly.
That's interesting. In fact, I did a podcast with Heidi from Glorious by Heidi, who does a lot of bridal accessories. And she said the same. She can tell when somebody really loves the piece. And she was coming from the point of view of they might like it, but their best friend or their mum that's with them doesn't like it so much. And she said, I know I can tell when they're tried it on that that's the one that makes them feel really good about themselves. So there's a psychology involved as well, isn't there? I think.
Well, yeah, it's probably one of the most emotive purchases you will ever make, and you just have to listen to your heart. You just have to. Everybody wants to just be getting married once, and this needs to be the dress, and you just have to go with the emotive side of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is a really tough situation when a bride is with her mum and her mum is like, oh, I don't like it. And the bride, you can just see that her eyes have lit up. She's standing more confident, and it's so hard for them.
Yeah.
And it does happen. But
yeah, and it does impact how you feel. I mean, I see the difference sometimes from like a pre-wedding shoot to the wedding shoot, because they do stand differently and they do engage differently in that whole presence. Clothes has a massive impact on how you feel about yourself, don't they?
Oh, yeah, massive. Absolutely massive. It can be, you can look absolutely stunning in something, but if you don't feel like it's the right choice for you, you can't get over that.
No, not
Definitely.
at all. So you offer appointments? Does everyone have to have an appointment before they come to your store, or can they sort of pop in on the off chance?
Pre-COVID, you could walk in.
Yeah.
At the minute, because of the COVID rules and regulations, we have swapped to appointment only. But I think actually it might be the way that we move forwards, depending on how it works in this period of time, just purely so that it gives us a chance to really get involved with each bride and make sure that they feel comfortable and they don't feel rushed. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm in a 2-hour appointment, so I've got to go. So yeah, it's just about managing the brides because the boutique isn't that big. But
and is there anything that brides, I hate the word should, I shouldn't say should, like before they come to you or to their bridal appointment, is there something they should do to prepare or to make sure they get the best experience?
For me, there's a couple of things actually that I try to say to the brides. I would always advise brides to research the boutiques that they are going to. Okay. I think you'll find that boutiques have their own mini identity. And so if you do some research into the boutiques, into the designers that they stock, I feel personally that you're more likely to have a more successful appointment.
Yeah. You're setting that level of expectation a little bit as well.
Yeah, exactly. And we aren't all the same in terms of the style of dresses or the content that we have. Everybody has their own way of doing everything. So just preparing yourselves in terms of each boutique is really helpful.
Yeah.
The other thing that I always say to brides is, and it is a trivial thing, but I think it makes a big difference, to think about the underwear that they wear when they come.
Okay.
Not because any of the stylists care, because we don't, we see everything. But for instance, again, going back to confidence, if you come and you've got massive old knickers on with a big hole in the back, when you put this amazing dress on, you just don't feel as confident and you don't feel as glamorous, and it does make a difference. I know it sounds silly, but it does make them feel different. So thinking about that and what they would feel confident wearing is also another thing that I say to brides.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just about really thinking about who you bring with you as well. Like we touched on earlier about the mother of the bride. Everybody normally will bring their mum.
Yeah. Because it's part of the whole experience, isn't it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You want the people that are closest to you, obviously. But some people try and bring too many people, and then it can get very confusing if everybody has a different idea of what is right for the bride.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so we always recommend 2 to 3 people. But at the minute, because of the COVID regulations, it's just one, the bride and one other. But we have installed a television and a camera so that we can put the appointment online so other people can dial in and watch.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, brides seem to be excited about that. It just allows different people, like if your sister lives 100 miles away, she can still come. And
yeah,
so
that's really forward thinking, actually. Yeah, and going forward, it's something you could still do even when restrictions are lifted, can't you? So
yeah, absolutely. It's all about the experience, so that's what we try and do.
Yeah, fantastic. So where do people? Where are you in the whole wedding journey? Have they usually got their venue and other suppliers, or do people come to you first thing because they're so excited about getting the dress?
I think you get two types of brides. One bride will come here before doing anything because it is just purely all about the dress.
Yeah.
And the other type normally book their venue first and then we are second. So we are normally quite high up.
Yeah.
Because I think it's one of the biggest things for the brides, isn't it? The dress.
Yeah,
so yeah, we are quite high up, I think, which is nice because then you get to experience the whole process with them.
Yeah.
Because you see them quite a lot during the run up to their wedding, so that's really nice.
Yeah, that's what I like about my job. You sort of see them right from almost the start of their wedding journey right till after they've got married often, so it's really nice to be part of the whole experience and to be able to influence that whole experience, isn't it? Especially I expect for you that the bigger the experience and the great time they have with you, that sort of ignites the rest of the journey, doesn't it, and sets the tone, really.
Yeah, exactly. It is just like you say, it's all a journey, and all the decisions they make have a knock-on effect to all the others, so it is lovely to be part of it.
Definitely. Do you get a lot of brides that come to you with images or sort of Pinterest boards and things like that, or do you sort of ask them to sort of park that when they come and see you, or a bit of both?
No, I really like if brides have inspiration and Pinterest boards. For me, it's really about getting to know them as an individual as well, because I think what is really important for me is that everybody has their own unique style, and I think your dress should reflect your style and your personality. And sometimes brides come in thinking they need something that they would never normally wear, and it's totally different, so that they give everyone this massive surprise, but they find that actually it doesn't reflect them. It's not, we call it their namesake dress, so it wouldn't be their Charlotte dress if their name was Charlotte. And I think that that's really important. So seeing their boards and ideas and things helps with that. Yeah.
And how do you factor that in? Because you obviously have to sort of pick a range of dresses to stock in the first place. So how do you even begin to sort of get your head around, what you like and then what your clients might like, and then be able to give choice as well?
Yeah, that was the hardest thing for me, because I just wanted to buy all the dresses that I wanted to wear. I'd say that my boutique has a style. It definitely does have a style. And also, there isn't one dress that I don't like in the boutique. I don't feel like I could advise someone the best way if I didn't love some aspect of each dress.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So the main thing is to try and get a variety of different silhouettes and shapes of dresses, because everybody's body type suits a different type of silhouette.
Of course.
So for instance, like the big ball gown silhouette or the fishtail silhouette, it suits different body types. And some brides like lace, some brides like a little bit of sparkle. So to have a variety in that as well. Yeah. And the other thing is, one of my designers does coloured wedding dresses. So if a bride wanted a navy blue dress, she could have it made in navy blue. So to have a variety of colours was also important.
Yeah. Do you think that's something that's going to grow going forward?
I think toning in terms of nude colours and blush pink is still quite big, and soft apricot and subtle colours, they are. I think it's a niche market for the brides that like to have a coloured dress. Yeah. Some brides want a black dress, some brides want a blue dress. There are those brides out there. Yeah. I don't know whether it'll ever become a popular
50-50,
thing.
No.
Yeah, no. It's definitely a certain type of bride that likes that, but it's nice to offer it if somebody wants it.
Yeah, definitely. I can see some. I've been sort of eyeing up the few that I can see in the background, and you're very nice.
Yeah, The ivory and gold one is, everybody loves that. It's beautiful.
So did you have a really positive experience when you were choosing your bridal dress?
I had one positive experience and one negative experience. And the amount of brides that come to me and say they've had a negative experience is quite upsetting, really. Yeah. I'd be mortified if someone had an experience that was negative here. And a lot of brides come and say, oh, it put me off. I've left doing the shopping of my dress because I was so upset. No. Yeah, which is a shame because there's no need for that.
No. What's the sort of common issue that they've had?
I think boutiques trying to make them buy a dress that they didn't really like.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe some of them have mentioned the atmosphere in the boutique wasn't particularly friendly. Okay. I think that helps with the doing research into your boutiques. You find the kind of boutique and the way that they work, and that helps with that, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, that must be awful if, it's the one thing you're looking forward to and then your experience is so negative, and like you say, then you put off doing it. That's such a shame. But that negative experience that you had must have helped you a lot when you were starting your business, I imagine.
Absolutely. I learned a lot from me wedding dress shopping, and the things I liked and the things that I didn't like as much. And so I kind of used the good bits and the bad bits to decide on how I was going to do things. So it was helpful.
Did you do a lot of research? Did you go to a lot of other sort of boutiques as you were setting up yours, or did you want to sort of keep the blinkers on and just focus on what you do?
I went to a lot of boutiques when I was wedding dress shopping myself.
Yeah.
When I was opening my boutique, I actually didn't go to any. I know that's probably a bad book in business, but I didn't want to get bogged down in how everybody else does it.
No, I feel that with photography, there's some really inspiring, fantastic photographers, but you also have to focus on what you do and how you want to do it. So I totally get that.
Yeah. And I'm sure I don't do some things as well as other people, but I think if you're doing it the way that feels comfortable to you, it's a better service for your customers. Yeah,
and you're going to attract the right people, aren't you? And you have to get on, really. It's the same with all suppliers. It's really important. It's a people-orientated industry at the end of the day, isn't it? So it's...
Well, absolutely.
If you're attracting the right people and making them feel good, then you're onto a winner, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Everybody just wants to have a lovely experience, and that's what they strive to receive, I think.
Yeah, totally. So you say you've been married before, or still married. I don't mean married. You've had a wedding before, I should say.
We nearly weren't married anymore with lockdown, but we are still.
If you can survive lockdown, you can survive anything, I think. Yeah. So do you have any other advice or any experiences that would sort of shape the advice you have for people getting married? Maybe unrelated to sort of wedding dresses, but in general.
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice is, and I know lots of people say it, but it is to just think about what you and your partner want for your day.
Yeah.
I think when I got married, I did some things the way that we wanted to do it and some things the way that other people wanted it to be done. And I think it's just really important that it's your day and reflects you two as a couple.
Yeah, I think that's really important. That's the message I keep putting out. And when I've asked this question to other people, they say the same. And it sounds a little bit cliche, but it is true, because you, as much as the people you love and you want them to have a great day, it's going to impact you more than anyone else. So you have to stay true to who you are. And sometimes that does mean being a little bit firm or making some hard decisions, doesn't it? But the outcome is that you have the day that you really want.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we just all have to remember the reason the day is there as well. Sometimes we get bogged down in the tiniest little details, and it's just about you two getting married at the end of the day.
Yeah. I always say, imagine that you didn't have loads of guests there and you weren't allowed to post anything on social media. would that change some of the decisions you've made? And I think that's quite a good exercise to do, because then it strips away all the fluffy stuff. Gets to the real reason you get married at the end of the day.
Exactly. And that's a really good thing to say, actually. I might steal that and say that to
You can steal it, that's fine.
Thank you.
So thank you. I've learnt lots today. I'm not an expert in dresses, or Bridget Jones underwear, or whatever it is that bride's coming. But if people want to sort of look at your website or see your work online, how can they find you?
Yeah, so our website is maisiedarling.co.uk and our social media is Maisie Darling Bridal.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for today. I've really enjoyed it, really learnt a lot. So I hope you've enjoyed it too.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
All right, take care for now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.